Hey, come on in, y'all. Thank you so much for being here. We're just yapping it up as always while I get ready for the day. I hope everybody can see the title. Let me know if you cannot, and I will do something about that. Star says, can anyone say what I missed? I just joined myself. We're just talking about why the left and the right are not really being divided. They're just morally different and like not in a way that they can really coexist. So that's going to be the topic of this live, but I'm sure we're going to get into other topics as well. Danny says, what do you think about the book The Will to Change by Bell Hooks? Saw that you read it on Goodreads. I love that book. I think there's been a lot of rhetoric. Well, there was for a moment quite a bit of rhetoric about Bell Hooks being like a pick me and stuff like that. And I just think it's interesting that people start saying things like that whenever people are not on some like very extreme type of energy with certain things, like with like men versus the patriarchy. Like, I believe that we have to topple the patriarchy, and it's not really like a men versus women thing. Like, it is, but at the end of the day, like, ideologically it isn't. It should be all of us versus the patriarchy, ideally. But there's a lot of like deconstructing we have to do, a lot of decentering we have to do. And men have a lot to learn before we can like topple the patriarchy. Men have to understand that ultimately it harms them too. And, it sucks that we can't get them on board with just empathy and just being like, hey, like shitty things are happening to us. Like, can we get rid of the system? Can we try something else? And so that sucks. But ultimately, it's really not about men versus women. It's about the people that are the most benefited by the patriarchy are definitely going to stick the closest to it. All right, let's see. Yeah, Sui, you get it. Sui, which I don't know if y'all know, that's a man. He's one of my mutuals. Says a lot of men want patriarchy because they want their shot. They don't mind it harming other people. Yeah, because they know ultimately at the end of the day, like, it still benefits them. Like, they know if they're up for a job or something like that, or if they ever need to make a woman look crazy and make themselves look good, then they can like lean back on the patriarchy, and they don't really care that it harms women as long as they get to get ahead. The thing about the patriarchy is that it's like a very stupid game and nobody ever really wins. But yeah, I love Bell Hooks. I love The Will to Change. My husband actually read that book like about a year ago now, maybe, and it was like really it was really good. Like, it brought up a lot of stuff, it triggered a lot of stuff, but like in a good way. He was definitely triggered by it, but like in a good way. I really, really, really recommend it for men because it's like it's kind of, I think what a lot of people don't understand about Bell Hooks is that, like, I think by the time that she started writing stuff, like, she was already past her like denial, anger, bargaining, depression stage, right? With all of this. And that's what a lot of people don't understand about like certain creators like myself, that where it like doesn't make sense to a lot of people that I can be married while also making decenter men content, while also decentering men myself. Like, people think that you have to physically decenter men, and I will always stand on, if you need to do that as a woman, you should do that as a woman. I would never ever ever tell a woman like, no, like, you have to be around men, the only way to heal is like to da da da. No, absolutely, separate yourself as much as you want. I'm all for like, if I really believed that like separatism could work without things getting violent and without men like ruining it, I would be an advocate for that. I wouldn't probably participate in it, but I'd be an advocate for it. Huge fan of the movie Women Talking, etc. But some people just cannot conceive of like going through all the stages and like coming out the other side and understanding that it's really not about men versus women. It's about all of us versus the patriarchy. And there are men out there that are, thank you, Retro. You always come through with the best like gifts. There are men like that also hate the patriarchy. There are men that also don't want to benefit from it, and they go out of their way to like do the hard thing and to just not be a patriarchal man because they know that it doesn't benefit them in the long run. They know that it ultimately is going to harm them to think that way. And so, yeah. Okay, let's get through some of the questions. Stars says, Lisa, what do you think about her attacking you, saying married women can't decenter? Oh, I hope I just answered that. Sarah says, should you text a male first in the beginning of dating? He hasn't texted in 2 days. Literally forget he ever existed. 2 days? That man is not serious. There was never a point in, for example, like mine and my husband's relationship where he didn't text me for 2 days. Like, that's crazy. If a man wants you, he's gonna let you know, and there's nothing really you can do if this is how he's acting. And like part of decentering men is just that, is literally blocking and moving on. Like none of that ever happened, right? Because if you, for example, like centering men in a situation like that would look like, or like me centering men as a creator would look like me telling you, well, he may be shy, he may be having communication problems, but he probably really likes you. He's probably just busy, like da da da. No, like, you do not need to sit around and like wait for a man to text you. If he wanted to, he would have already texted you. So that's how I feel about that. We're definitely not going to make excuses for men. Vesper says flawed villain claims to be a libertarian but voted for Trump and saying women can't lead. That's why I say, that's her whole rhetoric about, oh, I was trying to bring women on the left and on the right together. And now I can see that this was all about like politics and like dividing women. Like, that's all bullshit. She's sorry, but she's just misogynistic and like doesn't think women can lead, and very much centers men, especially within politics. Like, this is a very white woman behavior, which is why I warn about that. And I always say that unless the white feminists that you're listening to are also embracing like intersectionality and learning about intersectionality, then you are spinning your fucking wheels with them and you're never gonna go anywhere. Oh, we got Love Island questions. Let's go. Hold on, before I do that, something Sarah says, I thought the flawed villain's take on your marriage was so strange. It is strange. And it actually shows that she does not understand her own content, right? Because there's a reason why none of us, right, none of us other creators ever said anything about her working at the club or anything like that, and like centering men in that way, and like literally directly depending on her income from men. There's a reason why we never said anything like that, because it's like you can decenter men and be around men at the same time, right? And so yeah, I thought her take on it was just kind of shows that she doesn't understand her own content. She doesn't understand what she preaches. Okay, Non says the scary thing about flawed villain is a lot of white women are gonna fester there. Yeah, exactly. It's only white women that think like this, by the way, when they're like, oh, they're trying to tear us apart. They're trying to divide us, like the right and the left. Like, they're trying to separate us so that women, I want nothing to do with the women on the right. I will fight for their rights, but they will not fight for mine. And that's the fucking difference. And that's why we don't really fight together, because there's nothing for us to fight together for. What can somebody tell me, like, somebody fucking enlighten me in the comments? Like, what do women on the right and women on the left have in common at all? Like, please, somebody fucking enlighten me. Oh, men treat us both bad? Okay, well, that does not justify how the women on the right are voting against our interests. They're voting against our health care, and they're voting against us being able to do anything about these men that are raping and assaulting women and getting them pregnant. And then those women can't have rights over their own bodies. So I don't really care if women on the right are like, yeah, men are bad too. I don't give a fuck. What are you doing about it? Nothing? Okay, good. Then you can fuck right off. While I continue to fight for your rights and you continue to do absolutely nothing but appeal to men and vote for men and vote for freaking Republicans that are literally making it harder for you, for your dumbass to ever vote again. I cannot. I can absolutely not. And we will not fall for this rhetoric, at least on this side of TikTok. I have absolutely nothing in common with libertarian women either. Libertarian women can F right off. Okay, the only thing I agree with y'all on is guns, that we all should have them. That's the only thing that I agree with libertarian women on, or right-wing women, or whatever. And I'm pretty sure that none of them, like, not that many of them even follow their own, like, advice or whatever. But that's about the only thing we have in common. But no, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I have sisterhood with libertarian women who literally want to make it so that when your fucking house is on fire, you're going to be calling like different fire departments, getting quotes for like who can put it out for the cheapest. Okay, I don't want to live in that world. I don't want to live in a world like we already pay for healthcare. That's enough. You know, they're going to make it so that when you're getting held up at gunpoint, you're going to be calling different police departments because they're privatized. And you're going to be like, oh, it's going to be $500 for you to come out. Get the fuck out of here. I'm so serious. Okay, let's see. Star says, makeup tutorial, please. Someday, y'all. I've posted it. I changed my makeup a lot, actually, because people change their formulas all the time. I will say I'm really, really, really into this Tower 28 concealer. If you have neutral undertones like me, this BH here, you see that? Like, that blends in so well. And I've always been like very neutral. Okay, Liz Neptune, shout out to Liz, says, please upload this live to YouTube so we can watch later in full. I will. I'm working on the one I did yesterday. That's going up today, and then hopefully this one up tomorrow. All right. What's my Goodreads account? It's in my bio. I have a link tree in my bio. Secret Tree says, I'm a dancer and have decentered these men since day one. It's the best place to do so. I believe you. I also believe that you are exposed to a very much a certain demographic of men that makes it very, very easy to decenter men. So I really don't blame you. And I do believe that they're representative of most men. Like, not to say anything like that. I agree with you. Panda says, what are your thoughts about the drama with the wizard Liz? We've covered this kind of extensively. And if you go to my latest podcast episode, we actually talk about this a lot with the one and only, the amazing Cindy Noir, who was our special guest this past week. So please do check out that episode. We covered the wizard Liz drama like quite extensively. Rena says, but you just want to have a lot to do with your husband, right? What does that mean? Can you like explain that further? What do you mean? I do like want to do a lot with my husband, but I don't really get to. I work a lot, to be honest. I don't really see him that often. Yeah, so in response to my question, I'm guessing Olea H says, nothing. Women on the right are all about proximity to men in power. Exactly. Which is why Flawed Villain voted for Trump. Because she's really on the right. I'm just letting y'all know. And that's why her content is like very shallow at the end of the day and like very repetitive. And that's why the only thing she has to say for herself is like, oh, people are dividing us, like whatever. This is a white woman rhetoric, like as old as time. And I'm telling you, like, once you spot that, you can almost guarantee that a creator is not going to be intersectional and is not going to be like politically sound of mind. Does that make sense? She's very politically not sound of mind. Also, if you watch the live that she did with Princella, that was embarrassing. I'm sorry, but that was embarrassing. Princella really just let her expose herself. Yep, Star says they prefer to keep their whiteness and push others down. Username asks, are you married? Yes. And if you're asking that to like flex on me, don't worry. It's like not a flex that I'm married and I still decenter men. Like those two things are possible. And if you don't think it's possible, then you're the one projecting that. Does that make sense? Yeah, Floor 42 says it's unfortunate, but we have to treat them like the men they want so badly. Absolutely. Yo Mama says, girl, I need Ace from Love Island. Gone. He's creating a cult in the show with his minions. Okay, now tell me why I was kind of agreeing with a lot of what Ace was saying in the last episode. Like when he was kind of coaching Taylor and being like, you're doing the bare minimum, man. And then when he was kind of like calling out Jeremiah for being fake and being like, oh yeah, you just latched on to this girl. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, this is literally not how you play the game. This is not how you do these things. And I mean, I thought he had some good call outs, but I hate that man. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. But it's just like a broken clock can be right twice a day sometimes. All right, what about school pew-pewings? Is this in response to like what we might have in common with conservative women? They don't give a fuck about school pew-pewings. Just so y'all know. They do not give a fuck. Libertarian women are on a deconstruction journey. They either progress or regress. I agree, but yeah, while they're in that libertarian state of mind, I actually want nothing to do with them still. Onion says, would you use on the brows today? Is this Westman Atelier brow crayon in bark. And it was kind of pricey, but this is the longest an eyebrow pencil has like lasted me in a long time. And this little thing like comes off and it's like a little spoolie. I didn't figure this out for a long time, an embarrassingly long time, but it's very nice. Toby says, what did you plan for summer? Where I live, summer's actually like the best season. So we actually don't travel very much in the summer. I am going to see Beyonce this summer, but other than that, I'm gonna be hanging out here, enjoying the weather that I've waited 10 long months to see. And I'll be enjoying it for these next 2 months. I'll be enjoying the F out of the Pacific Northwest. Okay, because God, we never get to see the sun. But when we do, it's really, really beautiful. What was the blush I used? It's not Tower, it's called Cali Ray. And it's the Laguna Peach. I love it. It's like a lip and cheek hydrating soft stain. And then I usually set it with like a dry blush. I use this like Sephora one. That's also like a passion, like a coral, but that's because I have these like neutral undertones, so these blushes tend to look red on me instead of like actually peachy corally. Does that make sense? Like, see how this looks red on me? It's not red. Like, you see that? So your undertones will like literally change how certain things look on you. That's very important to know. So keep that in mind. I don't want to just make y'all spend money on something that only works for like 30% of people. I'm Just Salty says dancing is grape culture and capitalism. Yeah, that's why most SWs are abolitionists of like capitalism. They like I recently read this book called Working It, and it's a collection of essays by SWs, and the lady that put it all together, she also asked them like questions. She did like mini interviews with them at the end. And yeah, most SWs are for the abolition of capitalism. Like every single one. Say La Vie says, Queen Sovereign said feminism isn't real because of hierarchies in everything. I love Queen Sovereign. I think sometimes, like, as creators, we say these, like, hyperbolic sort of things to kind of paint a picture. But I don't disagree with her because feminism it's not that it's not real, it's just not, it's not very effective because everything is working to, like, keep us down. Like, feminism, if we lived in like a normal like society, if we didn't have to share the planet with other people that are basically not only our predators but also like yearn for our downfall because they don't think they have anything to offer. I don't know. If we didn't have to share the planet with people like that, this wouldn't even be a question, argument, whatever, right? So it's the mere fact that we have to have feminism tells you that it's kind of a waste of time in the first, like, God, like, not a waste of time in the first place, but it's like it's gonna take a long time. It is like an impossible task, right? Because you're trying to change the minds of people who don't think that you're a human being, and that is a very difficult task. I hope I explained this well. Julia says, I'm so upset about Flawed Villain. I feel so blind. Listen, Julia, I was mutuals with her. You don't have to feel blind. You don't have to feel bad. We support women until they give us a reason not to, right? Her message, the parts of it that I saw, it was a good message, right? When she started blowing up, all of those like other, videos that she had, like nobody even thought to go back there and check because we were like, oh, her message is so on point. And I'm not gonna lie, like a lot of people have said like, oh, she gave me weird vibes, like whatever. I also hesitated to follow her at first, but I always challenge myself on like, is this somehow misogyny? Is it like, I was like, oh, I don't really like the way that she delivers her message. Like it doesn't really like rub me the right way. But I was like, hey, like don't be misogynistic. Like we need like strong, like outspoken women out there too. We need women that are willing to be very like unapologetic, right? And then she was just very like literally unapologetic, like literally just a dumb person. I'm sorry, but oh, y'all, I'm so behind on the questions. Please, give me a sec. Floor 42 says, have you covered Vanderpump Rules? I started watching it for Ariana and I'm shocked with how these guys behave. It's a long time project and dream of mine to cover the entirety of Vanderpump Rules. That is like one of the best reality shows on television. And I just have to point this out because I'm a Cancer zodiac, and all the best reality TV shows, it's gonna be like an overwhelmingly Cancer zodiac cast. I'm just gonna leave that right there. But yeah, a lot of Cancers on that show, including Ariana, and I think that's what made it really, really interesting. But just overall, I thought it was really, really good. But yes, that is a long time project of mine. If I do it, I want to say I'll probably do it on YouTube though. So make sure that you follow me over there, because it'll probably be like longer videos where I just take on like a whole season or like a couple episodes, because it's it's a lot to cover. Yo Mama says they claim unity just to not take accountability. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like the left and right, like the people on the right only want to unite when it's time to justify their horrid ass views. Like the fact that Flawed Villain was like, yeah, I don't think women should actually lead a country. Okay. Okay, I see. I see. That live was not it. Princella owned it. Yeah. What happened on the live? Master Spam says, where can I watch the live? I don't know, and I'm hoping that somebody will tell me. I hope somebody screen recorded it. Yesterday, we were literally recording our podcast while that live was happening. And so Sovereign was like, oh, I'll just screen record the whole thing. But it turns out she didn't have enough space on her phone and she only got like 8 minutes of it. She was like, I'm devastated. We're all devastated because I really needed to see that whole live. But the part that we did tune in for, we tuned in for about an hour because our producer was like, y'all have to see this. Like, he was literally like watching it while we were recording, and he was like, it's like shit's popping off. And yeah, I just thought it was really interesting to watch how her demeanor changes like around Princella, and also how differently she acts and how little she has to say when she's live. You know what I mean? And so that only gives more credence to the theory that a lot of people had, that she's just been repeating like certain things. In fact, like I wouldn't be surprised if she was using like Chat GPT to write some of the rants or like some of the whatever. But if anybody has the lives, like I want to know, please tag me. Please let me know where to find it. Okay. Plant says, do you still support the Flawed Villain? Fuck no. No. It's seriously, it's support all women until I find out you're a fucking Trumpy. No, you can literally don't ever talk to me again. Like literally, I do not understand how she voted for Trump this last time. There could have been, not for me, but for some people, there could have been like some reasoning, where it's like, oh, well, voting for him the first time, like, because you don't like the Clintons, or like voting for him the second time because you don't like how, like, so you thought Biden was old or something. This time, knowing about Project 2025, knowing about like who he was going to have in the cabinet, knowing about like their agenda, you are literally an enemy of women, and I do not support enemies of women. There's nothing for me there to support. Like I said, I will still keep fighting for her rights. So in that way, I guess I fucking support her. But in any other way, like I literally want nothing to do with that woman. If you follow us both, I literally don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm disappointed in you. Plan says, y'all, Flawed Villain said aliens created the patriarchy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's fun. It's fun to learn about aliens. It's fun to like go down the rabbit hole, but that's what we're not going to do. We're not going to do that. Men created the patriarchy as early as the Bible, as early as the Code of Hammurabi, as early as any of our first written like tablets or whatever. Men were out here creating the patriarchy. I, in fact, think that the only reason men fucking taught themselves to read and write was to start oppressing women, because women were thriving and men were jealous. So to blame this shit on aliens is insane. It's kind of like people who say, oh, you just need a real man. Like, all men are real. All men are real. What do you mean a real man? is there a man out here that I can like put my arm out and it's just gonna go right through him because he's not real? He's a fucking hologram or something? No, all men are real men, and they have the very real capacity and everything to hurt us. And in that sense, they're all real. Don't fucking come to me with all that. This is crazy. I fear I'm so behind on comments. Like I'm reading comments from like an hour ago at this point. Okay. Mina Deltag says, love that being married and decentering men is possible. Thank you. Jevo says, what do you think about Princella? I like Princella. I think she's one of those women that I'm willing to support, even though her takes are sometimes very like galaxy brain, like it's very like it's a little bit much sometimes, but I'm not gonna act like she didn't inspire me. I'm not gonna act like, her content hasn't been extremely influential. And I think ultimately she's on the right side of things. Like I would support her 1,000 times before I ever support Flawed Villain. So I hope that helps. Oh, Kaz is in here. Hey Kaz. Did I miss your first comment? Did I get spammed or something? All right, let's see. Let me actually go. Oh my God, let me go to the bottom. Victoria says, Flawed Villain immediately blocked me and deleted all the comments that called her out on anything. And that's the difference between me and her. Like, I blocked a couple people yesterday in my live because they were spamming and I couldn't see other people's comments. But I literally have blocked like 3 women in my entire life. Flawed Villain being one of them. She's blocked now. And she still somehow gets into all of my business, but whatever. I guess I know her business too. Yeah, I don't block anyone. I actually enjoy like disagreements because it gives other people in the comments a chance to kind of like spar intellectually, especially with other women. Like I block a lot of men for sure, but I don't block women. And like when women disagree with me, I take it as a call in, not a call out. I've been called in a lot and I've had to eat crow several times and I don't care. Like, what do you mean? This is what we would want men to do, you know? And it's like, as women, we have to model at least some of this behavior because, whenever people, I also find it so disingenuous that it's like, oh, it's always women attacking other women. Like, nobody was attacking anybody. People were just saying, hey, some of your takes are kind of weird. Like, some of what you're saying, or like people were not attacking her. They're just like using her own words to call her out. And she decided to double down on that. All right, some good questions in here. Hold up. Let me get to it. Sarah Lou who says, any views in particular of Princella you don't support? I don't support anyone who's like bioessentialist. I think it's very short-sighted. And I think that non-bioessentialism is the future. And then let's also remember before we justify bioessentialism when it comes to trans people, let's just remember that bioessentialism has been used to perpetuate racism and ableism and genocide. So let's just not, I find it interesting that she can be a part of a community that she denies part of. Like, it's also just not super cool. So I don't agree with that. And I strongly disagree with her take on Cassie that she did. I thought that was a pretty vile angle on it to take, but okay. Let's see. MC Harrington says, thoughts on the new Sabrina Carpenter album cover, painful to see. I think that we can definitely, I watched the internet that day. See, and this is why I don't make 20 videos a day. This is why I don't speak on everything, because sometimes our initial reaction is very much, it's overreactive. So I think a lot of people, yes, it's sad to see. I think the timing couldn't have been worse. I think that it really is it's a bad look. Don't get me wrong. This is not me out here trying to support the album cover or saying that there's nothing wrong with it. I just think that we live in a time where women cannot win no matter what. And even critiquing that album cover devolved into, now we're Smeg's negative, right? Now she can't be horny. Now she can't be whatever. And so I just find it it's almost like everything that I would have said had been said already. I don't really know why people wanted me to have a whole separate take. Honestly, when I saw that album cover, the only thing I realized was how long it's been since I've genuinely felt happy, even for a minute. And so that's all I really had to say about it. It was just damn, we'll never be free, and we'll never be free to do whatever we want either. Right? It's a whole thing of there's this sliding scale of justice versus liberty, right? And so we want to liberate women, but we don't want to liberate them in a way that makes life worse or harder for other women. And so this is the sliding scale that we exist on, because we're always, as women, we're always put in this moral conundrum by the patriarchy of like, oh, here's a woman who's male-centered. Are you going to support her or not? Are you going to be a real girls or are the girls going to fight? And it's like, it's just bait. Like, it's bait. And I didn't really want to fall for it. Like, I think her and her team knew exactly what they were doing. And I think that they think any press is good press. What am I going to say? You know? It is what it is. Gigi Cat says Princella was lecturing Flawed Villain. Yeah, I thought she did a really great job, like, breaking down the voting for Trump thing. Like, that's the part we tuned in on, and I couldn't have been happier. Okay, Victoria says, okay, calling you in then. You don't think men created the left and the right? Yeah, so I'm sure they did, but like, what are we as women supposed to do about it? Like, what is our job in that as women? And like, what do we think of women who are on the right? Like, one side very clearly has like different morals and values, regardless of who created it. It doesn't matter. This is the system that we have. So within that system, how should we vote? You tell me. I don't know. Some people think that they can vote against all women's rights and be like, oh, well, men invented this system, so what was I supposed to do? Not vote for an orange man, like not vote for a man who literally came out there and said, grab them by the you know what. I would F my daughter if I could, or date her or whatever. She's very sexy. Maybe don't vote for a 34-time felon. Like, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, vote for anybody else, but don't vote for that. Victoria says, why didn't you call her out then, Princella? I did. I've said it multiple times that I disagree with her views on Cassie, but I'm not going to make a whole video calling out Princella, because she has very much like made a space for herself in this like space, and she has done a lot more good than harm. And so with Flawed Villain, I definitely don't feel the same way. Like, she has not done more good than harm. So sometimes it's like a mathematical calculation. And once Princella like crosses a certain type of like line, like, I will be happy to call her out. But she has done so much for women's community. Like, 4B Forever says, I think MJ had a good take on Sabrina. Yeah, I liked her take too. I think she really like stood on it too, which was great. Bonsai says, so you support trans women? I support trans women. I also understand that a lot of them were socialized not as women, and so there's like that fallout to deal with. But that doesn't mean that they shouldn't exist, and it doesn't mean that they don't experience a lot of the same misogyny that we do. So I think we have more in common than we do not. Let's see. 4B Forever had another good question. Here it is. What are your thoughts on marriage as a form of SW? I think if you marry a man who, let me think about this. So I think a lot of men do get married and want access to women for that one reason, but not just for that one reason. I think like to call it a form of SW is like almost too little. It's almost like disingenuous, because it's not just SW. It's all kinds of W. It's like every unseen, unpaid labor under the sun, right? Unseen until you don't do it. So I do think that men marry just for general labor, but I also think that when you think about let me connect my thoughts together, because once again, in like conjunction with the fact that I know a lot of SWs are abolition, like support the abolition of capitalism. In conjunction with that, I always have this thought that like, if money didn't exist, like if women were not separated from resources, like SW probably wouldn't exist either. Right? Like, SW is something that women do in order to get access to resources. Marriage is something women have historically had to do in order to get access to resources, right? And so in that way, they have something in common. But marriage is not just a form of SW, it's a form of all sorts of exploitation. So Veronica says, people are realizing feminism without intersectionality is dangerous. That's what I've been saying for a long time. That's literally what I've been saying for a long time, and you will hurt Black women. You will hurt all women, but especially Black women. And that's something I don't want to do. Like, I just want to put y'all on to this is the rhetoric she's going to espouse, right? She's going to espouse the rhetoric that people are dividing women because we're on the left and the right, and that's who she was trying to bring together, etc. That's bullshit. We have nothing in common with women on the right. Like I said, the only thing that the only way that I feel about women on the right is that I will continue to fight for their rights while they will continue to try and take mine away. That's how I feel about them. And I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for me. And what they're doing, they're just doing to be pure evil. Like, I don't to be male centered and evil. So yeah, I don't fuck with women on the right, and I don't fuck with libertarian women. I think that we have a system, and being like idealistic about that system hurts us. It's an imperfect system, yes. It's the only system we have. And so we need to use it to our advantage, and we need to not be fucking stupid. That's all. That's all I have to say about that. We have to not be a bunch of fucking idiots. That's it. The world is not a stage, guys. The world is not a stage. The world is a real fucking place. That's what I have to say about Flawed Villain. The world is a very real place, and to call it a stage is white privilege. To call all this stuff fake, to say that aliens invented the patriarchy, to say that, oh, I don't vote for like this kind of party, like da 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 da. That's white privilege. You can say that because you have white privilege. Oh, I thought they were just going to give abortion rights back to the states. How does that help women? Do you mean more women are going to be like left without pub? Hey, more women are going to be left without rights to their bodies, and you're okay with that? You voted for that? Audre Lorde said you can't use the master's tool to dismantle the house. Yes, but when it comes to voting and like for our immediate, like, I don't think y'all understand. I think this used to be like a decent thing to say until the right went full mask off, right? Like, we're literally talking about even if you like didn't vote or you voted for a third party, like, I'm looking at you very sideways. Very, very sideways, because you helped Orange Man win. And now we all live in hell. In literal hell. Everything's more expensive. Everything's more dangerous. There's less of a social safety net, which means I don't think y'all understand. It means it's going to get more dangerous outside. Right? And once they have people outside, they're going to be like rounding them up and deporting them to camps. Like, is this the world you want to fucking live in? Master's tools? Like, we can't be talking about that. We have to use whatever tools are available to us. And also, I respectfully to Audre Lorde, which brilliant, like absolute revolutionary. Like, I've read her essays, but like, you can use the master's tools to dismantle the house. You can, they're tools. Any tool will dismantle a house. It's not like the master's tools, like, unless the master's tools are broken, but like, you can use any tools, but we're not. So we have to use the tools that most people are willing to use. Like, I hope this all makes sense, but like, we cannot keep falling back on like, like, I don't know. I just struggle believing that she really meant that, like, politically, when it comes to voting for a certain party over another, especially when that other party completely has their mask off. I think when she said that, she meant like we as like, she was talking to people of color, saying like, you can't assimilate using whiteness and then like work it in from there, to like dismantle the house. But somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I just have trouble believing that she really meant that like politically, in the political sense, because you absolutely can. Julia says, I feel so bad for your man. I'll let him know. I'll let him know that some rando on the internet feels bad for him. Is that what you want? Sorry, y'all, I'm just being mean now. I'm sorry, I'm just being mean. Chris says none of what you said is true. What are you referring to? Explain yourself, Chris. Wasn't his daughter. Who fucking cares who it was? The man is a fucking misogynist. The man is literally demented. Like, he has dementia and he's demented. Like, he's literally unable to like speak coherently, much less run a country. Okay? Chris, Biden wasn't on the fucking ballot. Do you remember that? Biden wasn't even on the fucking ballot. So I don't know why you're bringing up Biden. Yeah, it's because I said Orange Man. Rena says, like, you married a man. Are you okay, Rena? Are you okay? You had kids, I'm assuming, also with men. Like, what do you mean? And Therese is here. Hi, Therese. Therese says it's like what Black women have always done with the illusion of freedom. Let me see if I can find your other comment because I think I missed it. Oh, hey, Unforgettable. Unforgettable says I'm eating crow, Wivy. I love you. I'm here for you. I know. I know. And this is why I don't block people, because I'm not like that. Unforgettable was in here, yesterday disagreeing. And you know what? We're not. Yeah, that live was insane. I know. I know. And it's hard because when you develop like a strong intuition, and my intuition's not even like that good because I was side eyeing her, but I was like, no, we have to unite. We have to support women. Like I was literally having that rhetoric that she accuses us of not having because I didn't like her. I didn't like her content at the beginning, but I was like, listen, that might be your internalized misogyny speaking. Like, we always got to check ourselves on the internalized misogyny. And I was like, you know what? Let me support her. She has a good message. She has like really interesting presentation, like whatever. Maybe I'm just being misogynistic because a woman's out here being like unapologetically herself and whatever. Little did I know I was just picking up on major narc vibes. And this is the thing that's still hard for me to do, even though I have all the experience with it in the world. I will still get taken in by a narc. I will. It sucks. It sucks. And my husband's so good at spotting it, especially with men. He'll be like, that boy ain't right. And then like Tara Lou, who says, yeah, her Roe v. Wade answer was not it. Yep. Have you seen Dean Withers? Yeah, I love Dean Withers. I don't usually like stick around for the lives because the dumb people really piss me off. I can't. It's the same reason I'm like, if a man wants to like argue with me up here, I'm like, no, you can do that in like the public offenders live. Like, I do not have the patience to sit through a bunch of like second grade level arguing and vocabulary. I just don't. MC, thank you. MC says, what's your big three in astrology? Appreciate your passion. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. So I'm a Cancer sun, but it's in the 12th house. So nobody has ever guessed my like zodiac right because I think I don't really like put it out there. But my big three are Cancer, Aquarius, Moon. And it's either Cancer rising or Scorpio rising. In Ukraine, they don't put your like time of birth on the certificate. So, yeah, so I don't really know, but I know it was sometime in the morning. The other thing about me is I have a Leo stellium in my second house. So that's probably explains a lot. Candy says, what's the podcast so I can tune in? It's right here. It's called The Audacity. Please do tune in. It would mean a lot to me. We work so, so, so hard on this thing. Gloria says, the world is not a stage, but the patriarchy is a stage. We can argue semantics. I don't think anything's a stage. I think it's all very real. I don't think any of it is a stage. I think all of it is like reality that we have to deal with. And I think it's so, so, so disingenuous to like downplay it like as if it's like the world is just a stage, nothing's real, we're all just a hologram. Like, Kim, people are dying. Do you know what I mean? Like, people are not okay, and you're over here, I'm the villain, and I'm gonna show everybody the truth, and I'm a mirror. Girl, I'm gonna stop myself. But I was gonna say dumbass. Octocat says, sorry, this is not relevant to the live, but I love your Love Island takes. Thank you so much. I won't tell you which ones, but Ariana Maddox and I are mutuals. Biggest flex right here. And she has liked some of my videos, and so I'm letting that be a confirmation of certain things, but I'm not going to put her on blast. Sorry, y'all. Natalie says, why is it so hard to unbrainwash men? Because they benefit from the patriarchy. Nobody wants to give up things that benefit them. It's so hard to unwash people from like whiteness, and like that. Pub was in here and said voting isn't the master's tool though. So yeah. Unforgettable says Orange Man and Elon rigged the votes. Either way, he was gonna win and make sure of it. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter to me. I know I didn't. All I know is morally, you could have never gotten me to fill in that fucking circle. In 100 million years, you couldn't have like convinced me. Even if you said it doesn't matter who's going to win, I'm going to be on the right side of history. I'm not going to vote for a deranged felon. And some people will, so you choose, you know what I mean? Like, you tell me. Shout out to Pub. the public offender 100, please go follow him, and follow him on YouTube because he does the best lives over there. I mean, I think he does lives over here too. And unfortunately, like as a Black creator, his content gets squashed over here on TikTok. So please support him wherever you can. And Begut says, such an United States citizen thing to say left and right when it's really about colonization. Yeah, but listen, Squiggle says, are we talking about Flawed Villain? That was awful. We're talking about her and other content creators like her that think that right and like women on the right and the left have anything in common and need to be brought together as like some beautiful union. That is in fact not true. I have nothing in common with male-centered women. I have nothing in common with women who can't see past the tip of their own nose, right? As far as like things that affect them. I have nothing in common with them. Go Get It says, what can't women do in 2025 that men can? I would say women have more privileges. They can't get their tubes tied and men can get a vasectomy. For women, basically doctors just make them wait until they're basically infertile anyway. And then they say, oh, you can then get your tubes tied. Or they make your husband sign a piece of paper that says he doesn't want to have kids with you. Men do not have to go through that. Men do not have never had to come in with a note from their wife or confirmation from their wife to get their vasectomy. Men also have the rights to their own bodies. Nobody's forcing vasectomies on men. And if men get a woman pregnant, they don't have to carry the baby and they don't have to give birth. So those are some rights that women don't have that men do have. Dominica, you've missed quite a bit, but I'll be putting this on live, so don't worry. Haley says, I'm a Republican and widowed to a Mexican man who died protecting this country. Why are you a Republican? And I'm very sorry for your loss. But why are you a Republican? I don't know what that's supposed to tell me, but I don't think we have anything in common. Like, Empowered by Shakti says, Harris followed everything Biden stood for. Not okay. So did Trump, except for he added a lot more. Does that make sense? So Trump hasn't changed anything about the Biden administration other than like the good stuff that Biden did. He undid that. And so I don't see how Trump is any different, except for he also took women's rights away. Power. Okay, I'm going to scroll back down to the bottom because the comments keep disappearing from the top. Samaya says, how do we go about fixing things? Genuine question. I don't know, y'all. We decenter men. I mean, I think that's the easiest, like, most practical thing that we can do, and they're gonna fight us tooth and nail on it. But as women, like, the best thing we can do is like decenter men, center ourselves, vote with our wallet, live for yourself. Yeah, vote with your vote. Like, don't vote for a freaking tyrant. Let's start out there, you know? Luna, thank you so much for subscribing. I gotta put some more subscriber content up because I know some people are still subbed, even though I kind of have like not been posting over there because I don't know if we're still gonna be here in like once this 90 days is up or whatever. Siren Fox said FV shows traits like Serena Joy from Handmaid's Tale. I haven't seen Handmaid's Tale, but I know who Serena Joy is. And I don't disagree. Who is Cecilia and why do people keep mentioning her? If you don't know who Cecilia Regina is, I'm genuinely surprised. And like you're on this corner of TikTok, I'm genuinely surprised because she's kind of the OG of this corner of TikTok. I often say that she ran so that the rest of us could walk. That's how I feel about her and her content. She inspired me to be here. She's brilliant. She's at Cecilia Regina 275. Please, please, please follow her because she literally has the best takes on this app. And she is so that first of all, that's Dr. Cecilia Regina to us. But yeah, she has a PhD and the freaking best content on this app. The most thoughtful, the most it's like I can just put on her like her videos are one of the only they're the easiest for me to watch all the way from beginning to end. It's like a mini lecture, a mini podcast, a mini just like masterclass every time. And I'm always like, damn, like she's so smart. She's so smart. It's crazy. And being on live with her, like I was like just trying not to throw up. Like I was just trying to get my shit together so I didn't sound. Candy says, what did you think about the Sinners movie? I somehow have not seen it yet. We were so busy when it was having its theatrical run that we just literally didn't make it. We had plans with friends to go see it, and then we just like all had to cancel. People keep asking how I feel about Princella. I feel good about her. Like I have nothing really bad to say about her. except for her Cassie take was horrid. C. Renee, thank you. C. Renee says, always see your content on YouTube. Keep up the good work. Thank you, baby. Thank you, V. Quick question. How was for you to enter a marriage knowing what you know about men? With divorce in mind. With divorce in my pocket. Something goes wrong? Divorce. Un poquito de español. But I only understand that because I can like put the context clues together and I like know one word of that. But thank you. Ali says, fighting each other won't fix anything. We have to talk to one another and hear each other out. I'm not fighting with anybody. I'm just saying I have actually nothing in common. And I cannot like coexist with people that don't think I should have the rights to my body or think that the rights to my body should be up to the states. I don't give a fuck about you if you feel like that. I honestly, like, I don't know. I just think we should somehow be able to apply the laws that people vote for to them and them only. And I feel like that's the only way some people will learn. That's what it is. Snap Like a Turtle says, what do you think about your criticizers who argue that you can't decenter men and be married? I say this all the time, but that's projection. So when other women cannot conceive of being married to a man without centering him, I don't worry about their opinion at all because I know that they haven't decentered men. Does that make sense? Like when people are like, you can't decenter men and be married at the same time. How are you decentering men if you're married? I'm like, very easily, actually. But the fact that you cannot conceive of it is what tells me that you're not there yet. And that's okay. And that's okay. I will always say, so that this never ever ever gets misconstrued and words don't get taken out of my mouth. I will always support women like physically separating themselves from men. I have no problem with that. Right? But don't come at me with your projections. Okay? If you still are at a point where you need to physically decenter men, you need to have a physical like barrier, you need to have that physical stage of like decentering men. I can decenter men to their face. And that's the difference. Like I said, divorce, right? It's that simple. It's that simple. It literally is that simple. How did you get married? How do you know your man's not? I don't. I mean, I do from like day to day, like right now, right this minute, he's not. But like a man is a man is a man. A man is 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 a man. So I would never, right? That's part of how you decenter men. You don't depend on a man to live. And I don't. If he wants to live with me, he's going to have to pay my bills, pay the rent, pay everything like that. And if he doesn't, I can pay for that stuff myself with all the money I've saved by switching to Geico. And it's mind-blowing to me that people can't like put those things together. It's like you can decentering men means you don't live your life to benefit a man. It means you don't live your life with men in mind, like everywhere you go. Like, is a man gonna think I'm pretty? Is a man gonna like me? Am I ever going to get married? Like those kinds of things. It means just going about your life however you want to go about your life. But having a partner is like what some people want. Some people want to have a partner and some people are straight. And every once in a while, very, very rarely, some of us might find a man who is, for the time being, deconstructing the patriarchy, doesn't want anything to do with it, like wants to be a good person and loves you. That's it. But that's not like the end all be all. People act like it's some kind of fairy tale ending, whatever. No, it's actually really, really important that not center, but like question your relationship all the time, because this is the person that is going to get you through the passing of both of your parents. you know this is the person that is going to be there if and when you get like fired from a job. This is the person. So it's very important, because if they are not like a good person, they're going to ruin your mental health. And that's why you should decenter men, because most of them are like that. Most of them will ruin your mental health. That's all. How's your mental health doing? Dems are tyrants as well. Stop with that. The female supremacist says exactly, the right divided themselves because they refuse to behave like good people. That's the only thing I'm ever saying. It's like, if you feel divided, it's because you're just not on the same side morally. If you feel divided, it's usually because your morals do not match the morals of the people that you feel divided against. And I'm okay with that. And I will not be guilted with like, oh, but women like this, women need to stick together. Fuck no. Fuck no, we don't. We'll not stick together with the Serena Joys of the world or whatever. I'm not going to stick together with Pearl the Pygmy. I'm not going to stand together with like freaking Laura Loomer or Candace Owens. Like, no, I do not support all women. Some of you bitches are very, very dumb. That's my favorite tweet of all time. Someone says you're Russian, like pro-Putin Russian. What do you think? First of all, I'm Ukrainian. The reason I don't speak Russian is because I was born into the dismantling of the Soviet Union. And if you don't know, while the Soviet Union was like in power, while Russia was in power over like all of that part of Europe, they made everybody speak Russian. So my mom only speaks Russian, my grandma only speaks Russian because of it was illegal to speak the language of your country. They wanted everybody to speak Russian. And so, very unfortunately, I only started learning Ukrainian when I started going to school. And we only had, and I don't know, I think I only had like 4 years of like being spoken Ukrainian to. And yeah, it just didn't really like register as well as the Russian did. But no, I definitely don't support that fucking idiot. And I don't know how people would think that in any world. Like, it's crazy. I heard Spanish is a bit harder than Russian. Is that true? Probably. Probably. Russian is pretty straightforward. Snap Like a Turtle says, how can women protect themselves once married? Do you mind sharing if you had a marriage contract? So I did not have a marriage contract. I got married under like religious, I don't want to say coercion, but I don't know if we would have gotten married as young as we did if we didn't feel that like pressure. Like, you're not supposed to date for years, you know, you're not supposed to like have smacks before marriage, all that. So we got married young. My marriage contract was basically, if anything goes wrong, I'm leaving you. We had nothing. I'm going to be honest with you. When we got married, like, I come from an immigrant family. My husband comes from poverty, honestly. So, everything that we have is like jointly owned, and I spend all of our money. I decide how it gets spent. So that's our marriage contract. I also have savings accounts in my own name, have retirement accounts in my own name. I have my own like bank account, all that. I just don't share what I don't want to share. And it's all in my name, whatever I don't. You know, Faith says, how do you feel about the flawed villain keep making videos about you and attacking your husband? That's why I'm like not really holding back about her anymore. Like, she wants to have a mean girl off, we can. I don't care. I don't think she even understands like how much I've been holding back. But we can keep doing this little dance. I'm just saying, like, I think she's mad because that is the only thing she will ever have on me, is that I'm married. I think she's mad that she can't go through my page like people have gone through hers and find a bunch of horrid, vile, disgusting takes. I think that's why she's mad. I think that's why she's coming after me. And she's over here talking about, oh yeah, once she turns 33, 34, her husband's probably going to leave her. Jokes on you, babe. I've been 33 for a long time now. Like, I'm turning 34 in a month. Well, I guess we'll see. And also, way to prove that you're male-centered, right? Like, she's trying to like attack me, being like, oh, your husband's going to leave you. I don't give a fuck. So what if he does? So what if he does? I'll just know that he ain't shit like all the other men. That's not a threat to me. That's something that I am like, literally, we all have to expect if we're going to be married. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're so mad. You're so mad that you can't find a bunch of bad fucking takes on my page. And I know your little minions have gone through and tried. I know you've tried. The only thing she has on me is that clip that she keeps posting from mine and Cecilia Regina's live, where I said, I think it's weird that she's making weird thirst trappy edits using your name as fodder. That's what I said to Cecilia Regina, and she's acting like I'm a anti-SW and that I'm a swerf and all that. And it's like, I never said anything about that. I just thought it was weird to make a thirst trappy edit in response to somebody being like, you stole something from Cecilia Regina. So, user says, I'm 4B and I honestly don't know how you decenter men when you date and marry them. You have a ways to go then. That's what I'm saying. So you're projecting that, right? You don't know how to decenter men when dating and marrying them. I'm sorry. Like, not I'm sorry. You don't have to. You know what I mean? You don't have to deal with men. That's like the best part, is you no longer need a man to have access to resources. So don't. So don't. Andrea says, how did you know he was the one to marry? I could tell you all the like, I could tell you the romantic side of that, but the practical side of that is because I can get a divorce. If I couldn't get a divorce, that'd be a harder question to answer. All right, let's see. I can't. Я можу, але не дуже добре. And honestly, my Russian's not great either. I was like sitting there talking to my dad the other day, who's also like Ukrainian, but his father was Russian, and they always made fun of him for not being able to speak Ukrainian. But my dad speaks Russian to me, and I was struggling like finding words for things. Advice for a friend who's dating a homosexual that's convinced her that supporting him is #feminism. Yeah, this is the problem with the feminism that some women want you to have, and this is the problem with like letting men into feminism and like male-centered women into feminism, because they spread really bad takes. A woman's power is having her own money under capitalism. M says your morals don't match support for Palestine, though. I very much support Palestine. How do you think I'm going to be Ukrainian and not support Palestine? That's fucking wild. It's the same exact situation. I support Ukraine and I support Palestine. Always. Always been that. Always been that way. Always will be that way. Unapologetic says solidarity is probably just going to take time for women to eventually figure out. I hope. I can't pronounce the username, but they say, I think your husband's probably like a friend that you care about, a relationship you value. Yes, and again, I can't it's so hard when people ask about this because it's like the least interesting thing about me, honestly. Always will be. And it's none of people's business. If I'm being like really honest, like I said, Cancer, 12th house. I don't like putting my business out there. This is 13 years of an amazing marriage we're talking about. And when people say, oh, your marriage has ups and downs, whatever. Some people don't. Like, some people don't have downs. Like, some people, it's like your life has ups and downs, right? And your marriage kind of comes with it. But your marriage itself should be like mostly stable. If it's not, it's probably not working out. Like, honestly, if I ever had one of those like situations where I'm like, marriage is so hard, even to the right person, like marriage is so hard. I'm not doing all that because marriage is not worth it if it's hard. If I'm being completely fucking honest, if my marriage was hard, like not even just like every day, if it was like hard once a week, if every week it was like, we were having like trouble or something, even every month, even every year, I'd be like, you know what? I'm kind of over it. I'm over it. Helen says, girl, your hair looks so good. Thank you. Been trying to take care of it. I'm getting it done on Thursday. Alexa says, if your husband leaves you, would you join the 4B movement? Well, I don't think that I would necessarily like I said, I believe in decentering men to their face. Would I ever have smex with a man again? Hell no. No. Would I ever date a man again? Hell no. I probably would still have like my same male friends that I have now, unless that thing happened. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But yeah, like in all, like practically, yes, it would be like 4B movement. I definitely wouldn't date again. I really believe that like what I have is rare, and I don't believe that I have the formula to like find it ever again. I just think every once in a blue moon, there's going to be a man that has like a fully formed like brain and understanding that women are people too. Or he will be able to see like where the patriarchy is like misleading him off a cliff. Right? I always say like following a man, anyone following a man is following him off a cliff. Whether it be a woman, whether it be another man, whether it be his children, they are following that man off a cliff. So no one stole shit. Everything is and has already been said. The goal is to spread the information. So what hurts somebody to say like, hey, like somebody else said this, credit to them? That's still spreading information. You still can meet the goal. If you listen to our podcast, we actually do this all the time very effortlessly, and it doesn't even take like any sort of special like concentration on our part. Anytime we say wife appliance or anything like that, we're like, oh, shout out to Bourbon Bougie. Anytime we say King Baby, we're like, shout out Mel Hamlet. Anytime we use one of Cecilia Regina's like concepts or talking points, we'll say shout out to Cecilia Regina. Just literally just do it. Just shout out. That's their term. That's inclusive. That's women sticking together. That's like, especially for Black women, you have to give, that's intersectionality. That's what people don't understand. And they view everything from white woman privilege. Oh, I don't care who says it, like whatever. Good. Good. That's because you haven't been stolen from your entire history. That's because that's not really a thing, you know? Sunset Power 10 says you marry because you can get divorced. LMAO. What's funny about that? I would actually never marry if I couldn't get divorced. That's a trap. That's called a trap. Something you can get into but not out of is a trap. So let's just be very, very clear about that. MJ says it's not like Ukrainians have spoken about it at all. Do you think that's because they kind of have like something going on? Could there be something that's preventing them from speaking out about that? I don't know. Like maybe like I don't know. I don't know. You tell me. Hey Bay says it's like some of the people commenting have never watched your content. That's because they're here supporting somebody else. And that's okay. I don't care. They can be in here and I'm not blocking them. I blocked the like really spammy ones yesterday. There's 2, but I don't really care. Screen record this, please. Okay. User says, what's his sign? He's a Taurus and I'm a Cancer. I'll also give y'all a hint. His Venus is in Cancer. My Venus is in Leo. It's like literally a match made in heaven, zodiologically. Let's see. Married women talking about decentering men is hilarious. Age of Aquarius isn't holding back. The person you support is a clown and a Trumpy and doesn't understand her own content, doesn't understand decentering men, and is just repeating other people's talking points. Has nothing to say for herself, as she showed very clearly yesterday on that live. Princella was like, let me give you 4 minutes to speak on whatever you want. You could sing a song even, which she has done on her page. She, you know what I mean? She's really hyping that up, and she couldn't do anything. She couldn't speak for more than 30 seconds at a time. If that, I'm being generous. 30 seconds. She said, I already said what I needed to say. Go back to her page. What you doing here? Evie says, feminism isn't agreeing with all women and supporting bad behavior. That would make us men. Exactly. User says, good men, I guess, do exist. I will say good men know that the patriarchy hurts them too. Good men do not want to participate in the patriarchy. And I wouldn't even say good men. All of these terms are so loaded, right? I would just say like men who understand what is going on. Don't worry, Sunset. I'm not blocking anybody. I don't care. Let's see. Ali says, what's the difference between centering your husband and valuing him? See, this is actually a very good question. And I think this is the part that most people are missing when they're like, you're married? That means you don't decenter men. Men can be married to women without centering them all the fucking time. So yeah. Also, the difference between centering somebody and valuing them is very easy. If it involves like giving up something that I want to do, right? That's centering for somebody else's like sake or benefit. That's centering somebody. If I'm doing that all the time, that's centering somebody, right? A lot of women, and I understand why people are like, oh, you can't decenter men while you're married, because a lot of women, when they're married, it's very natural for them to be like, here, how can I support your career? How can oh, we need to move somewhere. Okay, let me pick up my whole life and move with you. You know, we have to have like these certain timelines. Oh, we have to, like, now I have to pay for like your medical school, or I have to work while you pursue your dreams, like whatever. That I don't do that. I've never done that. I never will. I don't really care. And my husband, because he believes in like tipping the scales of the patriarchy, that's the role he's taken on. Basically, he supports my career. He's doing everything he can so that like my income can be unstable and fluctuate and whatever. He's got everything covered. He always has, right? And so we structure our marriage that way because he does not want to be centered in it. And so while I very much value him, right? Like this morning, for example, I texted him and I said, thank you, because while I went to a hot yoga sculpt class, which this happens every day, I go to a hot yoga sculpt at 7 a.m. and he walks the dogs, he picks up the house, he like leaves me a nice like working area, whatever. He cleans up the dishes, he switches out the laundry, all that. We both do that. But he does it very specifically so that I will have like a clear space of mind, like a clear space to work at, like so that I'm not worried about cleaning up because I work from home. And so he keeps that in mind. He's like, just because you work from home doesn't mean that when we leave a mess or something the night before that you have to deal with that and I get to just go off to work. Like, does that make sense? So I value him and I say thank you for those things, whatever, but I don't act like he's like a freaking, saint or anything like that for doing it. And yeah, I kind of agree we're centering him too much anyway in this conversation. So like, let's stop asking me questions about him. Honestly, it's like, yeah, your husband should teach classes to men. He actually is working on a curriculum and maybe one day he will do that, or we will, like, he'll give it to me and I'll do it. I don't know. But hey, Jevo says, everyone I've met who was good at understanding the depth of something was a Cancer sun. That's what a lot of people don't, get about us. Like, thank you. I feel very seen. I really appreciate that. All right, no more questions about my husband. Like, be so for real. Like, I talk about this all the time. I have playlists. Check out my marriage playlist, check out my dating playlist, check out my decentering men playlist. Like, if you really want to know the answers. Okay. Yeah, FV with just being a Trump supporter lost me. This is why we're talking about this, right? She's going to claim that women are being divided over like the left and right or whatever. They're not being divided. First of all, women on the left we're united with women on the right in that we will always fight for their rights, just by default. The people that are separating themselves is the people on the right because they are morally bankrupt. I said what I said. Oh, did Mel do a post about this yesterday? Yeah, being right over having community. Absolutely. And I think, the thing that's the biggest giveaway for me with this whole flawed villain situation is that we fucking existed. All of us in this space, me, Mel, Sovereign, Queen Sovereign, Bourbon Bougie, Public Offender, Cecilia Regina, Therese, Shar, everybody, Hope Peddler, everybody, right? Abby Eckel, Paige, all of us women, MJ, all of us women have existed. Mika, sorry, I'm just gonna keep Amber Aquila, like all of us have existed in this space together. Cindy Noir, together for years without a single motherfucking issue. A single issue. And what happens? What the fuck is this? Somebody explain this to me. Who? And she's the one talking about dividing women? Women are dividing each other? No, more like you came in here and disrupted the ecosystem. Like, get out of here. And she's proud of it. Sunset Power, you are going to get blocked if you keep doing this. I'm so serious because it doesn't give me a chance to answer other people's questions when you dummies spam. I've already talked about the marriage thing. I've already talked about my husband. We're not coming back to it. Please, leave or you're going to get blocked, or just stop doing this. Precious things, thank you. Love Flash. Hey, Scorpio sun. I seriously, growing up, my best friend in the world was a Scorpio. Do you know that most women in this space are Scorpios or water signs? Like Bourbon Bougie's a Scorpio. Therese, correct me if I'm wrong, also Scorpio. Cecilia Regina, Pisces. I'm a Cancer, Sovereign Woman, Scorpio. Scorpio women are just love. Yeah, shout out to Blissful, Cancer, Leo. No wonder. Oh, he says, are you okay, YV? You seem a bit sad. We value you, and those questions are intrusive. I do think people, myself included, really underestimate the mental, effects of doing this. But, like I say, the Leo stellium really helps me because, I don't really mind the attention. I just I get tired, but I don't really care. I could do this all day if I didn't get tired. Cancers are always cuffed up. Listen, Allie, hey. Allie says, would love your feedback on Flawed Villain Live with Princella. I mean, I'm not sure what feedback there is to give. The woman said 3 sentences the whole time. Princella tried to give her room to speak for more than 30 seconds at a time, and she could not. She's not a real yapper, even though she tries to come off as one. Love Flash, thank you. This is my passion/mission. I really do love it here. Could do this all day. Okay, Jungle Bee says, could you please recap the right-wing narrative of FV? Yes. So she went on Princella's Live and she said that she voted for Trump. She doubled down on her stance that Rosa Parks and MLK Jr. were part of some kind of op. They were ops, as in operatives. And we understand that there was a young, pregnant, 16-year-old girl that was the first to sit, at the front of the bus versus the back of the bus. Evie, thank you. Good night, baby. We all understand that. but it doesn't really matter what the face of, also putting a 16-year-old pregnant girl as the face of the civil rights movement would have been like, not, you know what I mean? Like what is that going to do? Even if there was some kind of like cohesive decision made that was like, okay, Rosa Parks is going to be the face of this movement, like that's called strategy. That's called, we're not going to put a, Evie, I'll post this on YouTube. Thank you. You're very sweet. I'll post this on YouTube so you can catch up with the rest. But it's like, that just wouldn't have been very practical. What is practical was done, right? She also said that aliens started the patriarchy, which is crazy because as far as I'm concerned, it was men. Men literally taught themselves to read and write so that they could oppress women and start the patriarchy, because they know that they're not as biologically necessary as we are. Terry says, when you're fighting for civil rights, choosing the right rep/plaintiff is crucial. Exactly. So if they were to put a pregnant 16-year-old girl, like, you just have to think about the optics of it, right? Like, there's a reason, like, politics is like that. There's a reason. It's the same reason why they ran Kamala over Joe Biden, because it just, the optics were better. Like, yeah, thank you, Black Phillip. Calling MLK a plant and an op is insane, especially when you're a Trump voter. Yeah, I agree. And I also think that's not for us as white women to speak on. Like, just shut the fuck up. It just shows me that you're not that smart. Yeah, exactly, Dominique. It just shows me that you're not that smart. And it shows me you have a lot of privilege to be thinking like that. Yes, Snap Like a Turtle says Effie is a great reminder on, we can't just learn from the internet. We should volunteer, read, etc. And you can tell she's not reading. Okay. What point is FV trying to make anyway? She's not. She's just trying to avoid accountability. That's why all of what she's been saying is like word salad. She's not trying to make a point. This was a grift for her all along. And it's very clear because she started attacking me as soon as I called her out. And it's like, yeah, okay, but you agreed with me so bad. Like that's why I know it was a grift, because she was like reposting my videos, agreeing with me. Even the video she talked shit on, my intersectionality video, she reposted that as if it wasn't about her. So that's hypocrisy of the biggest, the biggest freaking level. They're saying flawed villain is Bosnian too. She's Yugoslavian. And the fact that people are using that to justify her behavior is fucking stupid. I'm Ukrainian. I'm from literally the same area. And I'm not a fucking idiot. So stop defending her with that. Marilyn says, do you think it's a good idea for women to have kids with men? No. Do you plan to have kids? No. I think it's a terrible idea to have kids. What do I think of Red Witch things? I'd have to do more research. I don't think I follow them yet, and I don't know the scope of their content. Not resting angel face. That's so nice, Abby. YNF says, what do you think about flawed villain? I've mentioned this a few times now. I don't like her, and I don't care who knows it at this point. It's support all women until the women turn out to be women haters. Turns out they voted for, I don't even want to say the name because I get bots every time. Voted for, I heard somebody call him double quarter pound cheeseburger man. Nate Cleaning says, how will we survive without kids? Hopefully we don't. That's the point. Like, who's gonna tell him, ladies? Yeah, Marilyn, no problem. Yes, I'm child free, and I really I have so many thoughts on that, but this live is not about being child free. But yes. Yeah, survive to do what? Exactly. Hi, Iwana. It's good to see you, baby. Yeah, that fake apology was something else. That, like I said, this is what women on the right do. They always divide us, right? Like, we'll be over here trying to say one thing, and they're like, yeah, well, actually, aliens invented the patriarchy. Yeah, actually, Rosa Parks was an op. All these illegals, like, you're separating yourself. Like, we were all on your side. We all rooted for you. Yeah, Rosa's an op, but voting for Orange Man isn't. Yeah. Abby Dean says pregnancy is too dangerous right now. Exactly. And I wouldn't do it regardless, even if it was really safe. I just have no interest in it. I've never really had an interest in it, and I think it's because I didn't grow up around like babies or pregnant women. My mom was a single mom, all her friends were single moms, and we used to live it up. We used to live it up. We used to go on vacation every summer for like months at a time. Used to go down to the Black Sea. just chill. So yeah, I have really no reason to like want babies. The whole thing is gross to me. The whole thing is like every morning I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so happy I don't have children. Life would be so different if I had children. And I just don't want to. I want to do it. Dominica says, and so do you think Flawed Villain will just get back to her old content or keep attacking? That's a good question. So for now, we're seeing that she's going to keep attacking. Like she literally hasn't stopped making videos about me or Cecilia, which is why I'm kind of like going full kitty gloves off with her because like I'm done. I think she is doing whatever makes it easier to grift. And I think she's very much one of those like inflammatory content creators that's going to be like, they're trying to divide us. Like she literally got on there and said that like the creators that she was previously aligning herself with in this space are like her orchestra and she's the conductor. Like the woman is completely delusional. Completely delusional. Like this is reality. This is where she's at. Very far away from reality. Jordan says, how do you feel about the flawed villain being exposed since her recent content was similar to you? Yeah, she was copying a lot of her content, as we now know. The biggest difference between me and her is that I don't refuse to be intersectional. I value the reality of intersectionality is that we're not going anywhere without it. We can actually, it's not even the left and the right that's being like divided. At the core of that is misogyny, racism, and misogynoir. Yeah, they would have been coming for your kids like they're doing your husband. I don't think I'd be doing this if I had kids. I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. I don't think so. And that's why I don't have kids, because I want to be able to do the things I want to do. Cinnamon says, what would you do if you want to leave your toxic household but can't afford to? Save up until you can. It's your only way out. If something is toxic, your only way out is out. It's out. Like you have to get out. Lori says, want to say you helped me to finally leave my abusive marriage. I can't thank you enough. That's why I do this. You know, this is why. Hey, TD. Lori, I'm so, so happy for you. Honestly, your life can like restart now, you know? I'm so, I'm like looking forward to the glow up you're gonna have. I'm looking forward to like just how you're gonna be able to live your life now. Like, if you have any tips for women looking to leave, like, that'd be fantastic if you don't mind dropping them in the chat. Oh my gosh. Okay, Meow Nisa says, you have saved me from the fantasy of the one. I'm so glad I found you at 16. Baby, I'm so happy you're here. That's amazing. There really is no the one. He's the one while he's doing the right things. But also like there is no the one. There are just men that are willing to deconstruct the patriarchy and know that it doesn't benefit them. And at the end of the day, they should be doing it for their own benefit, and they probably are. They're probably not even doing all that for you. Yeah, TD says, I treat these men like the options they are. Exactly. And just a reminder, you'll never run out of these options. As long as you're willing to lower your standards all the way down into hell, you're gonna have all the options in the world. Love you back, Laura. Marilyn says, I really love your content. It is super, super important. What inspired you to make a TikTok account? I've been a social media manager for other people. I've produced like podcasts and things for other people. And that's kind of like my day job or whatever. And when there was kind of a lull in everything, I decided like, why not just practice the skills on myself while I have nobody else to like practice on? And so I started a little fashion TikTok account. That's what inspired me to go on TikTok. If you scroll back far enough, you can still see my fashion content. My content was always going to be for women regardless, but I just thought that fashion was like something I love. I wanted to like expand my like understanding of it, like visually. Yeah, I did. And I even had like a whole little thing going where people would send me their pictures and I would tell them their body type and things like that. And then one day I just randomly did a hot take about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. And the way that that blew up let me know that there was another type of content that was much more needed on this app that I had way more, turns out I had way more expertise in. So, Dre says, wait, still post about fashion. I'm a fashion designer and would love that. Dre, that's amazing. First of all, do you post about fashion? I love that. I will I actually have like a backup account called YV_fashion. Y'all can find that. I'm hoping to start posting on there. TikTok friend says, how long ago was this? I swear I've been watching you for much longer. Probably 2023 I started posting about fashion. And then I think like all of 2024 it was. Yeah. Ilana, have I not followed you back? You'll get comfortable on camera. You will. Just if you know something, speak like you know it. Oh, y'all are so sweet. User, gosh, you've been in here for a while. Do you think your takes on dating is valid even though you haven't dated much and got married young? I don't know. Ask my followers, like ask the people that take my advice. Like apparently they are. Apparently they're valuable to people. So, and I listen to other people. Like we need all types of women in this movement that are all for liberation, that are not thinking backwards, right? If you're thinking backwards, you're dragging us back. We're trying to move forward. We're going to go forward with or without you. But the more women that are dragging us back, like I'm not willing to get on their side, right? But I follow plenty of like single women. I follow plenty of married other women, like all that. I do have fashion content on Instagram as well. It's under YV Edit as well. MC, thank you. Yeah, Baldoni's voice memo. I was actually just re-listening to that video of mine that I did. That's that Leo stellium, I swear to God. All the way from Trinidad. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you, Unique in My Own Lane. Yeah. Shock and Awe says, I'm a cautionary tale to everything you speak to. Thinman says, have you read Princella's books, 41 Shades of Men or 5 Components of Love? I've read 41 Shades of Men. It's a good book. And she does give, just so y'all know, she does give a disclaimer if you listen to the preamble, the foreword. She does give the disclaimer that there are evolved men out there. Yeah, also some people just have like pattern recognition, you know? Do I live in the States? Yes. Eva says, how do you start trusting your voice when you've been gaslit all your life? I think that's the difference is I haven't been gaslit all my life. I'm Slavic. So nobody's ever tried to make me believe anything about men that wasn't the goddamn truth. Maybe, so see, you might be on the other side of that and that sucks. Were you like raised super religious perchance? I'm sorry. Sometimes I say that and I assume that all of us like Slavic girlies had the same. You had a dad. Okay, that makes sense. See, I didn't grow up with a dad in the house either. And my mom had to work for her own money. And she had a bunch of like I said, single mom friends that also had jobs. And I just was never taught anything about I was never taught anything about how great men are. Like, nobody ever tried to tell me, like, oh, when you get married and all that. I never heard things like that growing up. When you get married, when you have kids, like, just never heard anything like that. Eva, it seems like you see things, you know, seems like you see things for what they are. Yeah, a lot of people's dads are genuinely like sociopaths and narcissists because the patriarchy gives men permission to do that to whatever extent that they feel like, Yeah, my family in Romania is too close-minded. They always had this mentality of find a man ASAP. That's the reality of like some Slavic communities for sure. I guess like the Slavic part of my upbringing was unique as well because I really didn't realize. Dre says I was sad about hearing the Great Dads in the pod episode because my dad was not that. I know, and I hope that like I don't know, Cindy can kind of relate on that, and yeah, I think she was a little bit like also like sympathizing with that. Like she was like, I definitely noticed something in common, with all of you is that you had like dads that were real with you and dads that like were not your enemies. That's really sad. Dre, thank you. Dre says, I love the new art for the podcast. That was done by, I'll tag, I don't know why it's not letting me tag, but this was the creator that did. I also have it. It's the same person that did my profile picture. But y'all can call me Lisa. I just go by Lisa. I go by Lisa on the podcast. That's not my legal name, but yeah, the church absolutely destroyed me. The church does a serious number on women. Yeah. And it's like I was very, very lucky because I didn't, my parents have always gone to church, but they've never been like hyper religious and they've never like served in the church. They're never like involved in the church, anything like that. So I was spared from a lot of the very extremist religious thinking. I'm not Romanian, I'm Ukrainian, but close enough. What does YV edit mean? I started this as a fashion page, so edit really stands for like editorial, which is so funny. Like people just started referring to me as that when I started making feminist content, and I just never changed it. It is kind of editorial still. It's just more like a column, like a patriarchal advice column or something. I don't know. TikTok friend says, are you going to be reviewing aspects of Love Island for the whole season? Best content? Yes, I will. I want to. I want to not have to do it every day. Like it's a lot, but we'll see. I actually really like, yeah, your name. There you go. Yeah, I actually really like making the content. I just don't know if I'll be able to keep up with it once the ball really gets rolling. But yes, I will be doing it all throughout the season for sure. I also have like a Love Island, like 10 lessons from Love Island video that I did on my YouTube. That's really good. I mean, not to toot my own horn, but I did it last year. And so that's kind of how I feel about it every time. Like it's kind of like the arc of what my content kind of covers every time that we talk about these reality shows. What is my Myers-Briggs? INTP. Audacity is one of your inside jokes. That's funny. It's also one of my inside jokes. I used to always say this, with my coworkers, and I'd be like, the audacity, like mostly referring to men. And so then like one of them would always like write it on my whiteboard in my office, and it just kind of stuck. And when it came time to think of a podcast, I feel like Gwen threw that out there first, and then we did the T part so that it would be like, so we could do punny things with it. Rafaela says, I was considering auditioning to Love Island. What do you think about women who go on such shows? Nothing bad. I think reality TV is just something you have to know what you're getting into. And that's all. You just have to like stand on your values, stand on your morals, which is hard to do. And I think that those women are not like very, very like successful on those shows. I think it makes it hard for her to have like chemistry with men, because what most men think is like chemistry, or like when men are trying to create chemistry, they're actually just love bombing you, and their eyes are like dead the whole time. And so all right, let's see. It's not being on the show that's bad. It's the actions that women tend to partake in. Yeah, it's like I think it like very much depends on like where your head is at. Cinnamon says, I mean, can other creators use their first name, or would you not recommend it? Oh, I recommend it. I don't care if you have a common name or like a name that won't get you doxxed, absolutely use it. And if that makes it easier for you. I think a lot of us did the monikers because it's unsafe. Like it's unsafe otherwise. Yeah, Floor 42, you summed it up really well. Reality TV is not made for women that have done the work. The men get off on humiliating these girls for male attention. Really summed it up there. Thank you. Oh, Press Between the Pages says, do you watch any Real Housewives shows? Like all of them. Like all of them. I'm watching Desperate Housewives right now, actually. The OG. I've never seen it. So it's like kind of a hard launch. And I plan to do like a series covering that. Yeah, I do the alias for safety. Uh, yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. How often do I do lives? Honestly, probably once or twice a week, but I never know when it's gonna be. I just hop on here while I'm getting ready. I just started since you guys mentioned it. Yes. We were trying to like bully everybody into watching it in our Patreon. We posted about it and we're like, watch it. Slava Ukraini. Thank you, Ariambo. Hope I didn't butcher that. Did I watch The Kardashians for a quick second? I don't really care for that show. I have a lot of complex thoughts on The Kardashians, but 50K, thank you. Thank you, Love Flash. You're the best. I should like mod you up or something, but yeah, Desperate Housewives is so good. It's literally like a manual on why you should not be a pick me. Desperate Housewives it has negative energy. It's a cautionary tale written by I think a gay man. Real Housewives. So Real Housewives is like, yeah, has a whole different kind of spin to it. But I wouldn't say it's negative energy. I would just say it's like it's just interesting to observe dynamics between women and just kind of analyze that. I don't know. Girly pop, yes. Okay, so you're gonna be there. Good. I'm glad that people are like rewatching it. I know they're getting a reboot. Therese coming in with the facts as always. Mark Cherry created Desperate Housewives. He is also a producer on Golden Girls. That makes so much sense. Which Real Housewives is your fave? As far as being, so I haven't seen, okay, like I haven't seen all of them. I have seen OC, Beverly Hills, Atlanta, and I think I started another one. So out of those four, my favorite housewife is so far probably Lisa Vanderpump because she's a boss. And she's very unproblematic. What's the original? But I like yeah, OC was kind of boring, but my favorite to watch, probably Nene. Like, she's amazing. I like Candy because she's kind of unproblematic, but she's a little bit got like pick me energy, unfortunately. But I like Candy. Oh, Desperate Housewives. Yeah, the original is really good. It's very white, but yeah, that's why I enjoyed Atlanta, that season or that iteration of it, because it's like there was just so much more going on. Do you think consuming Real Housewives sets women back at all in terms of decentering men and feminism? No, I don't think it has to. I think it's just interesting to observe. I think the dynamics you observe are mostly between women, so it's kind of interesting to me because of that. Atlanta's like so far the only one where the men are like very actively participating in it so far that I've seen. And I don't care much for that aspect, but it's also kind of funny. Like, it's also kind of exposes the men, you know? Love Flash says, are you into psychology? Oh boy, am I. Boy, am I. Your thought process is so below the surface. I really, really appreciate that. That's very kind. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think I love psychology. I've read like textbooks on my own, psychology wise, and that's like most of the classes I took in college were like psychology, sociology, anthropology, things like that. I love the study of like humans. I love to study like just that, like the overlapping of all these things like gender, sociology, anthropology, history, feminism, all that. And I think like when you have that background, right? When you look at these shows differently, you look at all media completely differently. You know, that's why I do the analysis. Like, people can make fun of me for watching like Love Island and doing feminist analysis on it, but I don't care. There's plenty to analyze. That is real life. Like, it's representative of real life. Like, nothing I hear about dating is any different than what these people go through on like Love Island or Love is Blind. It's just we are being shown the process. And people are like, it's fake. Like, so is dating. Like, so is everything. Everything is fake. Like, in a sense, like I don't understand what's the point of saying like it's fake. Like, it's relevant. Exactly, MJ. It's very relevant. You know, like if this is how men are treating women everywhere, like that's something good to talk about. That's something good to break down and discuss. Yeah, exactly, Yuri. Hope I didn't butcher that. Reality shows actually help me because I see some women fall victim to the patriarchy in many ways. Exactly. It kind of shows you like the easiest pitfalls because a lot of these women like yeah don't know really know what they're getting into. And so you get to see like what do most women get nerfed by. Let's see. Teresa says, would audio corn count as ethical? I don't know, Teresa, what do you think? Like it just kind of depends like how does it. My problem is I think we could have ethical corn if like men were not allowed to watch it. You know what I mean? Like if men were not allowed to vote with their money on what kind of corn gets made. Does that make sense? I fear that is the only way for corn to be ethical. Yeah, Therese, I agree. The images are definitely the most troubling. Completely agree. All right. MC says, do you get solid money from YouTube? Do they often demonetize you for your content? No, they don't. I think they've only demonetized a couple of my videos for like reasons that I can, I guess, get on board with, like my Cassie video, and then they demonetized something else for copyright that I was like, whatever, I'm not gonna fight them on it. So no, not often do I make solid money as long as I post, like kind of. I don't have that many watchers, but let's see. MC Harrington. Let me follow you back and we can talk more in depth about it via DM, just like DM me. Cause I mean, like I can tell y'all, like I made about, I think my last payout from YouTube was like $1,800. Mind you though, they don't tax that money. So I only get to keep 2/3 of that. Does that make sense? That's about how much I get paid, but it is the most like steady platform. So like as long as I keep posting, it keeps monetizing. Therese says, I noticed the most popular creators on Quinn have content that features mutual pleasure, not male dom. I think that's good. It's an interesting debate, one that I haven't quite made my mind up on. I don't really see a problem with audio corn. My only problem is like, how does it, like, what's popular, right? And I can imagine that it's mostly women that's kind of like what I said, Therese, is like, I think corn can only be ethical as long as it's mostly like female watched and produced and dominated. As long as men do not get a vote in like what we are like what the most popular corn categories are. Yeah, exactly. You have to curate. That's because of men, because men want to see sick shit. And I think corn can also be made consensually between men and women. I just don't think that it should, like, yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad you see what I'm saying because it's like, it's a complex topic for sure. Cinnamon says a lot of women have a man in their heads judging them, etc. How do we stop that? Replace that man with yourself. Like, every time you catch that, replace that man with yourself and like try to go from there. Men's opinion always affects how women perform. It's a performance for men, not for women. Yeah, totally. Do y'all know I'm gonna get $2 for being on here this whole time? $2.59. It's so funny. I love lives though. I don't really mind. I don't do the lives for money, but just to give y'all an idea of like monetization, this is how it is. The most I've ever made from like a live was like $20. Yeah. So just before y'all like, just understand that we're not in it for the money. We're really not. The money is nice, but it very much fluctuates. Like in March, I got paid $600 from TikTok. And granted, I didn't post like a ton, but like still, there's no like, they don't have like, oh, Therese, that's cool. 140 off a live. Geez, do they pay you per hour? No. I've been on here for hours and I've made $2.59. They don't pay per hour, they pay per video and um I mean I could bitch about this all day, but I won't. Just know that it's not like fiscally, it's not worth it for the longest time. And by the time you might get to a point where the monetization is like worthy, you really stand the risk of like them demonetizing you for some weird fucking reason. Are they better on YouTube? I have not done a YouTube live. Maybe I should. Maybe I'm wasting my time over here. I need to make an anime face every time I get a gift. I know, I know. Teresa, I think that's a great idea. I think that's a really good, like, pipeline. Way to go. You're so smart. Yeah, the content needs to be free. For sure. That's why, like I say, like, this is how me and my husband like flip gender roles because I don't do no 50-50. I'm not responsible for bills or rent. And so I get to keep that money and use it for whatever I want. But this is why I can like take the L's, that I'm taking because so for everyone saying you can't decenter men while you're still being married, like that's how I do it. Are you going to write a book? Eventually, yes, for sure, for sure, for sure. All right, y'all. Well, I'm getting kind of a headache from being on here too much. Cinnamon, I'm not on Snapchat. I'm barely like keeping up with the apps I have. And I'm putting most of my work into the podcast and the podcast Patreon. We're in there like responding to comments. We're in there like doing polls and blogs and all kinds of stuff. So I just really don't even have time to start another app. But thank you for asking. All right, so MC Harrington says, your content helped me stand up for myself to misogynistic man, and now I have a restraining order. I'm so glad that you're safe. Of course, y'all are very, very welcome. I will try to be back this week. All right, love y'all. I'll post this up on YouTube if you missed it. Have a good day, everybody. Godspeed.